Hello and welcome to today's Dalal Street Week Ahead video. Now in today's Dalal Street Week Ahead video, we'll be taking a look at three stocks, which is Axis Bank, Nykaa and ICICI Bank. I'll share my trading plan for all three plus key price levels and all. Apart from that, we'll take a look at the news which will be affecting our indexes and the general market as a whole. Now on the news front, the one thing which I believe will override any data anything coming out is the reciprocal tariffs which are kicking in on April 9th. This is how Trump had set up the tariffs. So one kicks in April 5th and one kicks in April 9th. April 5th was the baseline tariffs of 10%. Those have kicked in and we can see the effect they had on the American market on Friday. April 9th is when the next tariffs are kicking in. This is going to be applying to 57 trade partners, one of which is India, and basically it's the higher tariffs above 10%. So now once that kicks in, we're going to have to see the reaction the market gives, as that's going to be very important. However, on the cool-off side, on the positive side, India has said that they're not going to do an immediate coordinated global response or retaliation against those tariffs. So that also brings a bit of cool heads to the table, which is hot. So we'll have to see how the market handles that. Why I'm saying that is I don't think last week was bad for us. This is, if you look at the past 6 months, we've had a very big fall. And last week when the world markets were completely crashing, we went down, but we went down in a rather normal fashion, not severely as I was expecting us to fall. So in this week's trading sessions, keep an open mind. I don't think you should keep a bias. This is, even if you fall, there will be dead cat bounces in the middle, and that's why a lot of the traders will end up giving back their money. So if you don't keep a clean bias, then you'll end up being able to trade the sharp falls and also the small dead cat bounces across the way. Now we move on to the three stocks which I'll be covering, which is Axis Bank, ICICI Bank and Nykaa. Started with Axis Bank. Now Axis Bank, according to me, as long as it's between 1070 and 1100, this is a very tight box range, but then there's a bigger box range, 1070 to 1125. So according to me, if it breaks 1100 by any chance, it goes to 1125, but can't go much above that. On the other hand, if it breaks 1070, then things are going to get really nasty, really fast for Axis Bank. This is a break of 1070 will take it to 1035 in a jiffy. If it breaks 1035, we're going to 905 to 994 pretty quickly. Sorry, not 905, 980 to 994. So that is something you're going to have to watch and see as it goes along, as I think the market is more leaning towards the downside given the sentiment in April 9th coming in. And so I think if you're a bullish trader, avoid the stock as of now. If you're a bearish trader, between 1070 and 1100, hold your horses. Minute 1070 breaks, you can sell calls and then you can also buy puts. But usually here I would recommend, if you're buying puts, you don't buy in the money because you're still early in the month. You can buy something like 1030, 1040 and it will end up going up tenfold and your risk is smaller because you're buying option which is more further away than an ITM which is 1070. So that is my view on Axis Bank. Now we'll take a look at ICICI Bank. Now ICICI Bank has really held its mantle when we look at it, as this whole fall which has happened in the past 6 months has not really shaken it, which is quite a testament. Now how I see ICICI Bank trading is pretty simple. First let us put that into a dash line. Now according to me, as long as ICICI Bank is between this support of 1325 and 1350, this is a tight box range. However, the minute it breaks either side, it's going to go up or it's going to go down. Now, people will be asking that the low of this candle is way below, so why am I putting a support at 1325 and not a support here? Now, these are quant supports, so they're looking at the price structure and the overall picture of, let's say, this whole period. They're not looking at the price structure only of this small zone here. So, according to how it's working, if it breaks 1325, that's when big amount of short money will start coming into, money to short the stock will start coming in, and that is what will drive it to 1300 and then 1275. So that is why instead of putting at the bottom of the price bars, which is a support there technically, which most will use, I've put it at 1325. That is the number which is coming up when I calculate it using with the formula which I used to count my levels. So for me as a trader, if it breaks 1325, I'm going to be taking a short to 1300. Breaks 1300, I'm going to be taking a short to 1275. However, pay attention, ICICI Bank, when the short works, take your profits quickly. This as it has shown extraordinary strength in the past couple of months when the market has been in a very bad phase. If you compare it to a lot of the other banking sector, you'll see it has outperformed them in a large way, and I expect that trend to continue. So the short traders have to take their money quickly and exit, because it might get a small dead cat bounce will take away your profits. So that's my view on ICICI Bank. Should you do option sells or option buys? I am going to do basically, if it breaks 1325, I'm going to do option sells and positional by selling calls above 1325 most likely, and then on intraday I'll do option buys to basically hit 1300 and 1275. Those option buys can be intraday or overnight, but option buys will not cross more than 1 day holding. As more than 1 day holding, I'll prefer to use option sells. Now next we're going to take a look at Nykaa. Now, when I take a look at Nykaa, the reason I've chosen to cover it is as Nykaa is now in the F&O space also from quite some time. So that will end up giving traders now an opportunity to take this stock. As when we look at it, okay, things are looking okay now here, because it is still holding its weight under the 200-day moving average. But this is a stock, whatever you want to call it, it's a stock that doesn't have the fundamentals behind it. I know many will say new age company and all that, but it doesn't have any solid fundamentals. So it holding this zone is just sort of a break before it goes further down. So my view is that, and we can see it has not been able to break above the 200-day moving average once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and I'm not even counting these other ones which it could not even reach the moving average. So now my trading plan for Nykaa is pretty simple. As long as it is between 175.5 and 181.5, this is a box range, and you avoid this range. You can, if you want, sell calls above. That'll be pretty easy money. However, if you want to get a bigger trade, let it break 175.5, sell calls above this, and then also intraday, overnight, you can short it with puts to 172 first and then 168. Why have I only gone until 168? This is as, once it reaches there, I want to cover it again. This is as a stock like Nykaa, I'm going to make it my bread and butter for the next couple of weeks. This is as intraday, it will end up giving good trades. It will be tight range, so you're going to have to be good in the execution. So if you're good, according to me, this is a stock that's going to give, it's sort of going to give you constant money every day if you're trading it on an intraday time frame. So that's my view on Nykaa and ICICI Bank and Axis Bank. If you liked the video, then hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and also click the notification bell. Thank you.